All right, here we go. Good evening, Warband. Welcome to the Gorilla stream, where we are going to mess around with, well, everything. I figure out how the heck to do this properly. Welcome, welcome. All right. Oh, see, we got some people in the chat. There's Yeet. All right, so. All right, Cubing Speed, Yeetus, Mr. Wick, ZK Studios, welcome, welcome. So, figuring out OBS in preparation for tomorrow. I figured I'd get to show you guys a little bit of extra behind the scenes stuff. So, this is UE5. I'm working on, I got a couple ideas anyway. Now, where the heck did that camera go? How's the beginning of Canada Day? Well, nothing's on fire yet. No fireworks yet. At least I don't think so. So, probably all as exciting than 4th of July. I'm willing to bet as soon as midnight hits, the fireworks start and then they don't stop. Alright, grab this. Alright, still in place. Good. Pin this, and we're going to add level sequence. Oh, jeez. Alrighty, so right now working on a bit of a cutscene idea, kind of a loading screen sort of bit. So got some nice assets going here, and got to figure out how long to make the video loop. 3 seconds is usually a decent length. That up. There we go. What's up? Well, Canada Day is just starting. I'm fiddling around with a couple options, just figuring out how to use OBS for live streaming. So this is roughly the gaming stream setup. I'm not quite sure if I'm terribly happy with it. That's a bit better. Now I can work full screen and still have chat on the window as well. Is this the Warband video game? No, this is just me working on some cinematics for the Unreal Engine. And create a couple more content assets, as it were. So, like, Yeetus has his nice fire throne and everything. Ribby's got the party pond. So, I gotta get my own little thing. I'm gonna need to place like just a cube in space right here so I can still find this thing. Put it in a new folder. Alright. And now I can find it whenever I need it. We got the cinematic camera actor. Yeah, not really a big fan of how it handles the Unreal Engine. It'd be probably a bit nicer to make it a full screen. There we go. Move that down to there. Turn the visuals for that off. There, now it's not going to jump around and be as jittery. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, decent turnout for a test stream. It's, geez, 19. We got 3 videos, a couple hundred subs, and freaking 19 of you showed up to watch me screw around at midnight on a holiday weekend. I'm flattered, guys, honestly. So I figure if I can't produce quantity in the same level as the other warband members, I can at least try to get the quality up. And, you know, just kind of maybe an impromptu tutorial here. So essentially what I'm working on here is, well, this is how you make a cutscene in the Unreal Engine. So just got to get this added to the track. There we go. Get that. Fairly happy. Do you guys plan on working on a Skyrim mod? Skyrim would be like a whole other can of worms to try and open up. You basically have to learn how to program within the Skyrim engine itself. It's honestly not the easiest thing to just jump into. Bring in Rishi as a guest speaker. I don't know. Rishi's kind of hard to pin down, if I'm being honest. You know what? Heck, better. I'll drop the stream into the Discord chat, I suppose. Yeah, shit, there. I'm showing everyone my freaking Discord with channel lists. Do a Nietzsche stream, huh? Yeah. I was like, Nietzsche's kind of interesting to take in doses, but his actual literary work is, like, it is hard to get into. Like, Nietzsche may have written a lot of stuff, and you can say a lot about his work, but accessible is not what I would describe his work as. Oh, hold on a second. Screwed everything there. There we go. Do I have an origin story? in terms of the avatar, I am sentient Kush smoke that Chronic breathed into existence. Everything beyond that hasn't been hashed out too much. How did I end up in the warband? I streamed with Yeetus for several months and then finally asked Chronic. What's your background without doxing yourself? I'm a Canadian. I've gotten a fairly broad education, worked in a fair number of fields, and as far as I can really go without more specific questions, why do I sound like a glowy? They're on to me! I have no clue, honestly. If I sound like a glowy, I don't know how to not sound like one, so you get what you get, guys. Okay, wow, that just seems bright. Down to 5.6, that improvement. Off the bloom. Camera, shutter speed, 120. So, there's got to be some auto adjust I'm missing here. Canada F. Can you try to flee to Alaska? Honestly, I'm closer to New York than I am to Alaska, so I mean, it's not impossible, but it is very difficult to get from Ontario to Alaska on foot, or even in a car for that matter. I'm aware what a glowy is, just I don't know how to not sound like one. The curious chat, like, how do I sound like a glowy? Okay, yeah, there we go. Get this metering mode done with. Set that shit to manual. Alrighty here. Exposure compensation. Okay, that's a bit better. Set it to 6. Could be worse. 8. 8's pretty decent. Try sounding like Croaky. I honestly don't think I've heard Croaky speak. Like, I've seen the image, but I think I missed that particular stream. Hey, since you ghost, can you fly instead of walking? Yeah, I'd assume so. I personally wonder whether I can form cloud legs or not, but I'd have to try that out. Okay, so settings, focal length, aperture. Alright, so now render this out. Oh, it's still coming out at 30. Set this to 60 FPS. Chop it down to 3 seconds. No audio. AVI video sequence. Sure, we'll compress it a little bit. All right. Now when my graphics card catches fire. There we go. Yeah, that'll be nice to trip out to a bit. All right, so this is just kind of a dungeon level I picked up on the Epic Store. So pre-made, I just figured I'd use what already exists. I think just so I can get a quick little sequence. But now that I've got a bit of a captive audience here, let's see, where did I put this? Sequences. Here it is. Sure, we'll save that back up. Sound a little soft? Yeah, how is the audio? Actually, you better fiddle with the settings there. Is it a bit quiet? Should I increase the volume? I am kind of turning like to and away from the mic. I can imagine it would be a little bit more variable. Honestly, I'm impressed by how like Chronic Ribian Company are able to just talk to themselves. Like kind of just bounce off the content. I usually need Yeetus or someone else to bounce off of to get anything decent going. So this, roughly what I've been working on for kind of a set design, because, well, PNG of an avatar is kind of sitting off to the side. Not really the most engaging of content. So, I'm going to get the camera set up in such a way have this kind of content right here. Oh, right, that'd be why. That's a really wide angle shot. Volume? Yeah, I can turn up the gain a little bit. Yeah, probably because it's not going through StreamYards, there's a little less compensation. Also maybe fiddle with the audio properties here. Yeah, I can turn up just the straight gain. So let's give it a boost of 3 decibels. There we go. All right, so that was about a 6 decibel increase. Better, okay. I'll take it up to... There we go. 6 decibel increase. Okay. So part of the idea here is I want to have like the avatar in place, but I also want there to be somewhere where I can put like screen stuff to the other side. So that's where I'm getting the idea for this green screen in mind. So to that end, just make a plane. Make it just a little bit larger this way and this way. Escort off to the side over here. Now let's make a new material real quick. Just kind of up a bit. Got the base color. Opaque. I think that'll do it. Yeah. Alright, so let me grab that. I shove this. Nah, that's glowing like crazy. The glow is what I'm really trying to avoid with this. Because that'll just cause the green screen effect to bleed everywhere. Maybe user interface? That's still glowing like crazy. Yeah, this is admittedly 90% of trying to figure out how the heck to program something. You shove it in, it doesn't work, and you're trying to figure out why it doesn't work. Go with default lit. Cast ray trace shadows. Turn that off. Maybe this will. Scale, specularity. That might be a bit better. Appear to glowing. Just turn glow off entirely. Okay, that's not bad, but now there's a shadow. Now, typically, when there's a shadow on a green screen, what you try to do is you try to balance out the light so that you don't really get that kind of shadow. Question is how to get rid of that blisteringly hot light while also just keeping the green screen evenly lit. Yo, 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 where the 304's at? Well, here. That's... There. We got the 304 loading in. I fiddle around with the light and give you something nice to look at. Here we are. Here's the intensity. Let's lower that down to a 2. It's still a very hot light. Open that material again. Don't worry, I'm still going to keep Pretty Lady up. It's bad, but it still glows far too much. Now still 14 people watching me screw around, so y'all are going deep into the manga chat too. There's a ton of options. I don't suppose any of y'all can understand what I'm trying to do in Unreal Engine and know the answer. Turn the brightness down. It does reduce the intensity of the glow, but it doesn't solve the fundamental issue. I need it to glow bright enough. I also don't want it to be casting light. Why the change in avatar? This is what Chronic commissioned for it. Like, this is the avatar that's officially part of the warband. I don't know what else to tell you there. I was as surprised as you guys. But I'm going to make it work. What kind of Illuminati ritual did I have to do? Well, you know, like you got to get a bunch of kush plants. You got to raise them from seeds on a steady diet of your own blood. Then you have to go outside of the full moon, get high as balls, and maintain that high for 3 hours total while chanting Puniti all the while. Do that, and then you're allowed into level 2, and I'm not allowed to tell you what level 2 requires. Okay, that actually started to work. Getting, maybe try that. Oh, kind of neat. Oh, okay, that's... I'm liking that. I'm liking that quite a bit. Alright, and then I'll just put a point light back here. That blows it out. Subsurface color. Try that. I'm definitely feeling that a bit better, so. Relative blend mode, surface. Make it two-sided for the material. Rocket Raccoon Pliskin? Huh. I hadn't actually thought about that one. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I just hadn't considered it. Like, seriously, I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy in years, or any of the other Marvel movies, so... I can kind of see it, but it's been a while. Okay, well... Alright, I'll save those changes. A lot different on my own channel than on Yeetus' streams. Probably because I'm going through OBS, and I've got some different filters built into the microphone here. I'm probably gonna have to listen back to the stream to see exactly what I do sound like. I don't dislike this layout though. Need something kind of in the bottom area. Probably where I could put a bunch of shilling stuff. As to these. Group those two together so that they don't move. Pin that. That I don't mind that. Not bad, but not the focal length. Shoot to a 30 mil. Gotta back her up quite a bit. Audio sounds crisper on this. No, I guess. I thought I had audio filters on this one, but I guess not. So it's just going straight through the voice meter. The difference is Yeta streams through StreamYards, whereas this is just direct through OBS. Scaling for this always feels kind of weird. I mean, it doesn't look bad on its own, but then you actually put human analog next to it, and it just puts the shelves in scale, really. Well, yeah, if the volume's not an issue. I've pumped it up a little bit, adding 6 decibels gain onto the basic microphone. Then you got just coming through on voice meter here, and I've got some custom settings there. Yeah, Edis, I think I'm gonna fiddle around with OBS some more, because I feel like StreamYard keeps getting in the way. It might be good for getting call-ins because it gives you kind of a lobby to work with. But at the same time, it does feel like it causes problems, especially with the introduction music, whatnot. And there's always a bit of a delay, just some unnecessary lag. Okay, this isn't bad, per se. Seriously. That design is always kind of tough when you don't really know exactly what you're going for. Let's see, what do I have for torches in here? Got quite a bit of things. Like, I grabbed a ton of assets to fiddle around for this kind of stuff. Let's see, I've got a bunch of visual effects in here. What the? What the? geez, what the heck's this thing? Matcherbot, wait for... Well, you can kind of see what it is already. Now the shaders process way. Let's go around in here and see if I can find some lanterns. Dungeon lamps. From Angler, gray pink Moscato will get your setup in order. I have no idea what pink Moscato is. Also, I am kind of a fan of how this thing looks. That casts a lot of light. Yeah. Neat little robot. Doesn't really fit the theme. Holy jeez, this thing's huge. There's that other light source. I gotta get rid of that. Okay. I don't dislike that. I wonder, actually, if I create another... Probably overcomplicating this. That. Let's get another 2D plane. Is the Kush Ghost a 2D or a 3D model? It is currently a 2D PNG, which I've managed to bring into a 3D environment. So right now it's 2D, but could go 3D at some point. Maybe I'll see if I can get an animation rig together, rig it up to the Unreal Engine, and maybe open up ZBrush and see what I can fiddle with. Now, turn the brightness up on this, make that the emissive color. Add that to here and toss it on there. And that is insanely bright. Turn that down. Nah, same problem. Now the glow's leaking through again. I just switch it to opaque. Like, I wouldn't object to that normally, but it's not uniform. That's better. It still catches shadows. Make it a volume. Bit bright, but not terrible. Still too bright. I just took the specularity off. Really, the only thing to work is to just make it straight up emissive. Well, tried to figure it out. Let's see if Google has an answer. Yeah, it doesn't really occur to the devs that, hey, maybe people don't want the emissive material to glow. I mean, I can understand that. Like, I just don't want the glow to reach quite as far. Because the main idea, the whole reason I'm doing all of this, that when I pull this out, I want this to be a functional green screen. Problem is it's catching like all this inner stuff with the light. And I want it just to look like it's this section right here, not any of these edges. Emissive makes it a nice even bit, but then it just keeps putting all this lighting information out. How it is emissive colors. Customize UVs. Lighting intensity. How can I turn this off? Scattering extinction. Oh, that might work. Not great, but it kind of works. Okay. Maybe this will be the key. I hit that to 0.5. Can I just set that to 0? Oh. I don't know, that doesn't change anything. Problem is when I look for this, like UE5 materials not casting light, people think it's an error. Oh, just some random guy. Welcome. I'm fiddling around with the Unreal Engine here, trying to make it work the way I want it to. And it won't, but that's not its problem. That's me not understanding exactly how this works. Damn it, Kevin. I'll work on wrench permissions eventually. Like, anything in mind for UE5? Well, I did shoot kind of a short clip earlier. Mostly I'm working on a new setup. I'm trying to create kind of artificial green screen here. But the lighting, it's just hard to render lighting the way that I want it. When I apply all this, set it back to normal. And this is pretty good. I'm just wondering how that shadow is going to render onto the screen. Like, maybe it won't be an issue at all. Maybe I just need some better ambient lighting. Maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong. Didn't quite do it. And that does kind of work. A little bit. Almost too much. That's not terrible. That's pretty good. Just get a bit of a fill light in there. Alright, see ya, angler. Okay, I don't mind that. That's okay. Might not be exactly what I wanted. But it gets the basics of the job done. Set that down to 5. Yes. This thing's bloody insane. And honestly, the light's so crazy and inconsistent. What else do I have for dungeon lamps? That one's crazy. Arches, bases, stairs, railings, props. Now maybe instead of having a massive open flame. Okay. That I like. That I like. The lighting feels a little more even. Now I can take this in just where I want it. Okay. Yeah, I'm already feeling that ambiance a lot better. Jeez, Karen, you're gonna play League? Prepare to mourn, everyone. We're about to lose Carry On to the toxic life of League of Legends. Prepare your eulogies. Alright. I'm going to change the adjustment angle to every 15 degrees. I know I had a bookshelf with a bunch of alchemy stuff on it. I don't dislike that setup. Bring a wall around. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that. That's coming together rather nice. Okay. You always, you gotta have an idea of what you want in the set. Just a concept or a theme that you can build off of. Let's have the basic composition down. And it gets a lot easier to make the decisions because now everything can just support the original decision. Yeah, honestly, I really digged like how chat was kind of responding to a librarian idea. So I thought, you know what? Yeah, let's kind of commit to that. I mean, I do have an absolutely obscene number of books, like both physical and digital. So UE5, yeah, Unreal Engine 5 is free. Like, there's a ton of free stuff on Unreal Engine. Yeah, the engine's free. They drop new free content every month. Like, plus, there's a bunch of stock stuff from the Epic Store. Like, actually, funny that League is mentioned because before Fortnite took off, Epic was actually working on their own League of Legends style MOBA, which they called Paragon. And they developed some incredibly advanced characters. This right here, Gideon, was one of them. And they were right in the middle of development when they realized, hey, let's try this Fortnite thing, and Fortnite just exploded in popularity. Like, they were making a shit ton of money, hand over fist with that. And they realized, like, we can't justify putting any more effort into Paragon when we need to get everyone on Fortnite stat. So what they did was they took all the assets that they'd spent on Paragon and they just dumped them for free as part of the Unreal Engine. So you can see everything that they had for Paragon now. And definitely some of the most detailed characters of that time, to be sure. Chances are there's similar detail depths now. But back when it first came out, this was about as advanced as you got. Just wait for the all the beard texture to load in. Grab another point light here so you can actually see a bit. Intensity is way too bright. Take that down to like a 2. Yeah, well, the thing is with Fortnite was actually made initially as a network test. Like, they wanted to prove that the Unreal Engine could handle a massive number of players doing a massive number of things. So in order to save on polygons, Fortnite's graphics became incredibly cartoony. But since you don't need to render near as much when you're doing a MOBA, because there's a very limited number of characters and players on screen at any given time, they could go the extra mile and really render out the characters in detail. Like, every single material for them, if we actually open this up. Let's see. I'll open up the material for, I believe this is his outfit. Like, there's color for the cloth, 2 different colors for the metal, leather, and whatever this is. Stuff worn under the leathers. Bet they have jiggle physics. Well, let's pull out one of the female characters and take a look. Fortnite was originally a tower defense Edo. I guess it makes sense with the construction mechanics. But I know that the Battle Royale thing ended up being because of a network test. Let's see. Animations, materials, meshes, physics assets. There's no skeletal mesh assigned. Just ignore that and try not to. Huh. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah. Oh, my graphics card catches fire starting to render all this in. Yeah, literally thousands of shaders just on this character model alone. Yeah, they straight up have completely separate animation bones for each breast. So yes, there's there's not only like physics assets, but they straight up made bouncing boobs their own animation bit. Actually, if I just hit play, what happens? See if we can get a bit of a look. Yeah, speaking of men of culture, like, look at the UE5 model. Like, extra streaming pool over budget. Yeah, no shit, the streaming pool is over budget. Jesus Christ. Close that up. I need like first person view. Let's see, where's the game mode for this one? Still getting used to the UE5 interface. It's pretty similar to UE4's, but there's just a lot of little bits. Open the level blueprint. Oh god, yeah. Rendering a bunch of shaders. Trying to render the textures. Uh, yeah. Oh, it's starting to chug. Next, browser. Settings. There we are, world settings. Let's pop Aura out of here at the moment. Save what we fiddled with, and let's just go take a look at some of the animation stuff. I've never really done a deep dive. Yeah, honestly, UE5 is definitely straining what my PC can handle. Let's get Task Manager open. Like, yeah, like it's chugging ahead and eating up 90% of my CPU and 75% of my memory. Temperature's not bad though, so it's got that going for it. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier during Yeetus' stream, this this is one of the downsides to having all these advanced shaders and whatnot. That when you try to load it, stuff just takes ages. However, this isn't a bad time to try shifting a few things. So while that loads up, what we can do, shift over to this. I can make a couple adjustments here. Now fiddle around with some of this. Yeah, it's not a terrible layout. Right. Yeah, Unreal Engine's threatening to catch my computer on fire. So while it loads the new scene, we are going to see who the heck is this person anyway? Also, the YouTube audio is not coming through. Oh, wait, oh, there it is. Okay, seriously. True story. Back when I was in university, like I got a new graphics card, but I didn't have the power supply to handle it at the time. So in order to compensate for that, my computer would get incredibly hot. Well, it's the middle of a Canadian winter, so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put on my outdoor gear, and I'm going to open the window, and I'm going to have a winter-cooled PC. And it worked. Worked for a while anyway. Eventually, the graphics card decided to melt down, and I caved, replaced it. Thankfully, it was still under warranty. And I just said, yeah, just stopped working. I don't know why. And they replaced it, no further questions. And then I got a proper power supply, and it handled it from there. But Yeah, I'm never gonna forget the one time I cooled my computer with winter air. I have to get on Odyssey too. But who the heck is... Okay. I mean, it's just... Okay, bad enough this dude's a ginger. Like, they get shit on enough, but... Like, that guy's forehead. Does something look off to the rest of you guys? Like, I don't know. Jeez. Like, do we need to get wheat waffles in here to do an in-depth analysis of these ratios? Because something looks weird. Anyway, who the heck is this person? Oh, no, no. This is the thing. I didn't have to use the snow. I just opened the window and let the frigid cold air in and wore a coat. Hey, seriously. You know what? Okay, I'll just look her up.
This video?
Mooncat. She's British, but I'm pretty sure that's some Scandinavian typing right there. Wow. Oh god, yeah. Probably gonna have to do a video on this just to... you might... Honestly, yeah, you might end up getting a gray roast, because... Honestly, I could probably get an entire stream's worth of comments just an hour plus of content just roasting the comment section. Like, I can already feel my brain cells dying. Like, okay, like this right here. As someone who was falsely accused of grape, I had receipts and nearly lost my friends. It's an awful thing to happen, but I would not say it's a widespread issue among women. It was a toxic friend who lashed out when I ended things. This was not a calculated attack on my reputation, it was an emotional outburst. Does that make it better? And oh, you would not say it's a widespread issue among women. What? Because you've only personally encountered it once? Do you think that you are the only man who has a toxic relationship with a female and lashed out in an emotional outburst and tried to ruin your life? Yeah, you had receipts. How many men have receipts, buddy? Like, jeez. Okay, like this one. My soul and brain are damaged after watching the entirety of this video. Well, at least we're going to agree on that. Like, my soul and brain are damaged reading the comment section for this video, and it's taken a fraction of the time. I had to rewind some clips because it caused me physical pain and made me want to jump out of my skin. And I'm a lesbian, so I have no dog in this fight. Really? Really? Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is where I actually have to use my brain to break down. Like, okay, so first off, taxes. You're still gonna get the taxes. You're still gonna get the benefits. This is not just about male and female bumping uglies together here. This is the wider social interaction. It doesn't matter whether you want to bump uglies with a man, a woman, or miscellaneous. You kind of need men and women to get on to sustain a society where you can afford to be a lesbian. Because there weren't near as many lesbians back in the day because they really couldn't afford to live as lesbians. Because you're trying to get two parasites to support one another. It doesn't work. Nonetheless, you're doing important work trying to recuperate and reverse some of the damage this culture has already caused to young men and boys. What damage? I hope at least some percentage of those who watch this video will see the reality behind their indoctrination and decide to cultivate healthier relationships with their masculinity and view of women. You mean the kind of relationships that sent them to the manosphere in the first place, looking for answers for why they have to deal with this? Because our lives, O-U-R, not A-R-E. Oh, wait. Yeah, O-U-R, because our lives quite literally depend on it. I thought you had no dog in this fight. What is it? Do you have no dog in this fight, or do our lives quite literally depend on it? I'll never forget the years of wasted, or rather, not focused on the real problem, therapy after I got graped in elementary school, military, and my mother instead accused me of being a goddamned. I'm not saying that, Susan. Oh, and that's apparently the the word that YouTube actually allows in the comments section. Took me over 20 years. I'm 38 to be able to properly dealt to be able to properly deal with happened and how negatively impacted me during my younger and teenage years. Like, what? Like, carry on. I'm reading the comments under like that debunking the entire manosphere video Chronic started to get into today. Oh, God damn it. This was so good. You are so thorough. I can't even imagine how mentally draining it had to be to watch and listen to these tools for a prolonged period of time. Seriously. Like, if you can't imagine, that's not because it was a titanic feat. That's because you lack imagination. It's great when such fun fare can be made out of such depressing material. And just when I consider myself good and edutained, the Roasty Girl anthem blew the lid off the entire video. Roasty Girl anthem. Is that a segment that we heard? Or is it a segment of something yet to come? I've given my share of horrible dating advice in the past. These days, I'm a lot more gun-shy about it, despite participating in various relationship nerd spheres. I just fall back on be gay, do crime, or monogamy in this economy? I've heard the be gay, do crime meme. Monogamy in this economy is new. Oh, hold on. I have the wrong window for full screen here. No wonder. Sorry. I didn't realize you guys couldn't see this. This is why I need to do these kinds of tests. 1 second. There. Now you get to suffer along with me. I find the way men rate themselves a hindrance to themselves more than others. They put their own labels on attractiveness and often end up so insecure and be felt in the air. I'm sure we all know someone whose vibe was just so off. So whiny and complaint. So whiny and complaint and self-hating that even though the guy was attractive enough to date would never be considered. So whiny and complaining and self-hating that even though the guy was attractive enough to date, he would never be considered. According to their standards, my short king fiance, who is 5'6", chubby, and half Asian, could only land a woman if he was made of money. We work in the same place and made the same amount. I'm literally still obsessed with him after 8 years of being together. Why is there a question mark there? I'm literally still obsessed with him after 8 years of being together. That should be a period, not a question mark. Otherwise, well, why? Because he treats me like a human being. I know the bar is so low sometimes, but that's not all. Honey, if you're a woman, you have never been treated like as anything but a freaking like walking deity. You've never been treated like a man, which according to you wouldn't even be being treated as human. But you consider special treatment a low bar. and he is my best friend. We can sit and talk about everything and anything for hours and never run out of things to debate or talk about. He is also super funny and just fun to be around. He's confident but not cocky, honest and kind to everyone he meets, from the homeless guy in the street to CEOs, and he treats everyone with the same respect. Okay, seriously, who the fuck are you with that is running into both homeless guys on the street and CEOs? Because I guarantee you he doesn't treat them the same. And that is so fucking hot. Okay, the lack of periods are so fucking cold then. Like, fucking red face, tongue out, sweaty emoji. Really? You are sexually attracted to a dude that treats homeless people and CEOs with the same level of honesty and kindness. Um, I can't read Japanese, so I have to figure that one out. Who was that feminist chick who disguised herself as a man and needed serious mental help after seeing how men are treated? Let's see. Self-made man. Who's the author for that? Nora Vincent. Wait, Destiny? Is this the Destiny? No, it can't be. Has it made any content in years? 8 subs. Not the same Destiny. I'm 30 minutes in and I've had a migraine for about 20 minutes. I really appreciate your work, Moonicat. These kinds of willfully ignorant, arrogant losers really do my head in. It causes me physical pain to listen to them for too long because everything they say is so mind-numbingly stupid and incredibly sexist. I really respect you for wading through this much rotten garbage to produce such a vid. Heart emoji. Standing ovation. Stunning and brave. Wading through this much rotten garbage. Like, they all vote. Holy cow, this is a full-fledged documentary. So much work, and this only took you 3 months. Insane cheers. 3 months to produce a 2-hour video that, from what we've seen so far, says absolutely fucking nothing. So this is interesting. I actually helped administer the NISVS. It's a new acronym to look up. What the fuck is the NISVS? Oh. Huh. Well. (2016, 2017). The most recent data you have on this is 5, 6 years out of date. Hmm. Oh, this would be interesting to break down. Hmm. Hmm. This would be interesting to break down. Problem is, I probably could not read this report out loud on YouTube. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so. Hmm. All right. You know what? Screw it. The scream's gonna get scrubbed anyway, so I guess I don't really care too much about nuking it. So, national prevalence of intimate partner violence related impact. IPV will be intimate partner violence. So, according to this data brief, during their lifetime, about 1 in 4 women experienced contact sexual violence, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner and reported at least one form of IPV-related impact. 5 commonly related impacts during their lifetimes were 20.5% were concerned for their safety, 17.6 reported being fearful, 14.9% experienced PTSD symptoms, 12.4% were injured, 11.5% needed help from law enforcement. Okay, now let's look at the men real quick. So 5.3% were concerned for their safety, 4.4% reported being fearful, 4% were injured, 3.5% needed help from law enforcement, and 3.4% experienced PTSD symptoms. Yes, Yum Joy. Reported. Like, so what we have here is women are 4 times more likely than men to be concerned for their safety, or at least to say that they're concerned for their safety. Women are 4 times more likely to report being fearful. "11.5% needed help from law enforcement. 3.5% of men." So almost a 3-to-1 ratio. But even then, like, the numbers are also kind of stacked because 11.5% of women is 13.8 million, but 3.5% of men is 3.9 million. So not only is it a smaller percentage of men, they're not pulling from an equivalent amount here. Essentially, it's 14 million women needed help from law enforcement versus 4 million men. Yeah. Although, key one here. Among victims of contact sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner. Weird how they lump all of those together. Over 2/3 of female victims and nearly 1/3 of male victims reported experiencing an IPV-related impact during their lifetimes. Among female victims, over 2/3, 68.9%, or 30 million, experienced sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking. Sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking. But here we got a chart. We have a chart. Any reported. Okay, here are the biggest things. Fearful, concerned for safety, PTSD symptoms. Less than half of them report an injury of any kind. No, and that's the other thing, just some random guy, is that it's not specifying who the partner was. It's just women victims and male victims, like, well, what's the domestic abuse rate amongst lesbians versus what's the domestic abuse rate against gay men? You ever wonder if that might be skewing the numbers a bit? Of course not. This is the CDC. This is the government. Who needs that kind of precision when we can be vague to create a narrative? Oh, okay. No, sorry. Here's a thing. Okay, so reported the impact, almost 70%. Received an injury, 34%. Needed help from law enforcement, 32%. Needed legal services, 17%. Is that seems a little interesting right there, that you can be injured by someone, you can require help from law enforcement, but you only need legal services, i.e. filing charges, half the time. Oh, wow. So, fearful, concern for safety, PTSD symptoms. Now, here's the thing. So, let's compare these numbers. This is interesting. So, fearful, 48.3. Concern for safety, 56. PTSD symptoms, 40%. Injury, 34%. Go down to men. Men were more likely to be injured than to get PTSD. Almost equally likely to being fearful. And of those injuries, only half the time they actually needed medical care. Whereas women apparently needed medical care about 2/3 of the time for their injuries. Still not enough for legal services. Estimate is not reported. Relative standard error greater than 30% or cell size less than equal to 20. Random digit dial telephone surveys. I mean, and I think Chronic would agree with this. At the very least, they are doing, from what I can tell by just a casual survey, a somewhat rigorous study, and they're covering all their bases. So I can't say the information's outright false, because I don't think it's false. I don't think they're lying about anything here. But there are significant details missing. So I'd be curious, assuming that my brain can survive. How long does it take her? It takes her. Okay, she apparently debunks false allegations in 5.5 minutes. Five and a half. Oh, the raising criminals bit? She debunks that. 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes for her to debunk that. Four minutes to debunk the wage gap. To debunk the wage gap. Oh, jeez. There have been multiple trials by multiple governments auditing multiple companies. Hours upon hours of material. Casual Bachelor alone has at least 15 to 45 minutes of content going into detail. Like actual legal proceedings to debunk the wage gap. And she can apparently throw all that away in 4.5 minutes. Jeez. Wonder what the heck the budget was for this. Three months. Like this 2-hour video in 3 months. Like keep in mind, Yeetus and I shit out multiple, like several hour streams per day. Like she dedicated more fucking time to the song and the outro than she did to Single Mothers Don't Raise Criminals. Oh, I'm sure she ain't just fucking done by Surfshark. The Roasty Girls podcast. Yeah, she's got a Patreon. Let's see what's on her Patreon. Six. Okay, there's the fucking money right there. So let's assume bare minimum here. 620 patrons at $5.50 a month. Let's see. That's what? About $4,000? 3.5 to $4,000 roughly? So, and we're assuming bare bottom here, which it's probably not. She is making bare minimum. So, in Patreon dollars alone, this 2-hour cringe fest cost at least $12,000. $12,000 to make this. And of oh. There's a Reddit link. I'm gonna make sure that my browser's like scrubbed of doxable stuff before I pop in there, but something tells me that we're going to find some sympatry and some cuckery in there. What is this? Men against sexism. I do not have enough tea for this. The National Organization for Men Against Sexism is an activist organization of men and women supporting positive changes for men. Noma's 47. Okay. 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 You got a press kit? Who are you affiliated with? The Feminist Women's Health Center. Men Stopping Violence. National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Oregon Attorneys Sexual Assault Task Force. Up the River Endeavors. "11 hours ago. One like. 83 followers. National Organization for Men Against Sexism. This is men against sexism. This. Oh, wow. Farida D. You know, I think that we can say safely that this is the height of authorial pretension. When you go on Instagram, make some bullshit up, and then quote yourself like you're somebody important. Jesus rebuked this. So, yeah, fucking Handmaid's Tale, of course. Ginsburg worship. Not knowing the truth doesn't make you ignorant. Not wanting to know the truth is what makes you ignorant. Well, I agree. I'm pretty sure I don't agree in the way that they think I agree, but I agree. Pro-feminist, LGBTQ plus affirmative, anti-racist, enhancing men's lives. I have yet to find a feminist that can tell me one way in which feminism has actually benefited men. Agreed. Bubble is too dense. Like I think the sunk cost fallacy has probably sunk in way too deep. Like what? They'd have to probably undo decades of their lives to admit that they are wrong. But okay, just Nomas has been advocating intersectional pro-feminism since 1975. How the ever loving shit. Oh. There. This is how they make money. Although apparently they haven't updated this thing almost 2 months. "35 Firemen's Memorial Drive, New York." Of course, it's New York. Doors open. Training. Corporate grift. They make their money by guilting corporations into sending their employees to them to teach them how to be feminists. Chaos for you. It freed men from a life of indentured servitude to an ungrateful broad. You know what? You are correct. That is factually something good that feminism has done for men. But I'm willing to bet a feminist wouldn't tell me that. Over 1 in 4 women, or 24%, experience intimate partner violence before the age of 50. Well, to be fair, they're kind of dating quite a bit. Like, who the heck? Like, there aren't most women that can even get into a relationship after 50. And 27%. So you're telling me that 73% of women can go essentially their entire lives and never experience violence from a partner. And then you will get the broadest definition of violence, which includes, according to that CDC report, stalking, which is based on a phone conversation survey. Yeah, Angler's still on. I popped over to check this chick's video that Chronic started to look at today. And then I followed some of the links after roasting a couple of the comments. And I have found layers upon layers of soul-draining cringe. I love that this channel is finally getting the attention it deserves. Definitely one of the most underrated YouTubers. 440 likes. Massive respect for someone taking a deep dive into this growing part of the internet and scrutinizing it. Young men need to know that it's okay to seek self-improvement. But if you're not questioning your teachers or beliefs, you might be on the indoctrination train to a place you never intended on going. I just hope that the really young and impressionable have more creators like her to make sure they don't fall for one of the more extreme creators / aspects of it. Really? I mean, do these people live in such a state of perpetual thick irony that they've forgotten what the taste of not ironic tastes like? It's like you've been drinking salt water for so long, you don't even know what fresh water's supposed to taste like anymore. Ian Socks, please. I don't go on TikTok. There are places that even I dare not tread. And I've gone to some weird fucking places. As a male Gen X, I can't believe the bullshit coming out of these guys. How the fuck can anyone take them seriously? How can anyone take you seriously with your dollar signs and @ symbols in the middle of your sentences, buddy? Like, either swear or don't swear. This kind of censored swearing here does not make you sound serious and edgy. It makes you sound like a freaking 90s kid doing leet speak. And that's shitty fucking leet speak. Thank you for the video. I can't believe the bullshit. Okay. Just because you can't believe it doesn't mean that it's not true. As a man who has escaped all that trash, I think it's super important for men to see videos like this and understand that feminism as a movement has numerous benefits for men. No, it has one, and Chaos explained that a couple minutes ago. The status quo of gender and sex relations is really messed up, and I hope that one day all the men who get sucked into the right-wing monopoly of manhood will come and understand one day that everything that women take issue with is also an issue for men. No, it's not that so much. It's more so that men have to deal with a ton of shit that women don't. At all. But it's just no one gives a shit about an issue until a woman has a problem with it. In other words, we should form a system of social cooperation and unity across genders, sexes, and sexualities with the express purpose of liberating us from capitalism and all its ills. Something, something, workers of the world unite. Anybody? Oh! They're a communist! Oh boy. Rat Slayer 420. I was an incel until about the age of 25, after which I started hanging out with women. I found female friends, spent a lot of time talking to female colleagues, and suddenly I didn't feel like I needed a woman anymore. Then I met a girl who had a passionate but toxic relationship for 2 years. I've been single and celibate for 2 years since then, but honestly prefer it that way. I know someone will eventually come along who loves me for who I am rather than the person my ex tried to force me to be. I'm autistic and used to be very, very socially awkward. If someone like me can pull through, I think anyone can. Never give up. That's your success story? You got laid but to a crazy bitch? Someone will eventually come along? Yo, whoever thinks autistic people are smart, I'm going to put Rat Slayer 420 here as a case study for why that is not the case. I was trying to explain the manosphere to someone the other day, and I got sadder for humanity as I talked about it and how some young men take their advice as fact. They're explaining observable phenomena. Unlike you fucking commies, they're not making shit up. They are observing stuff that makes them question and look deeper and seek explanations for it. This stuff is factual because it happens. It's real. Oh boy. God damn, yeah. How? Yeah, so yeah, Chronic got about 20 minutes into this before the real fucking shitstorm started. A simple enemy is always more enticing than complex and nuanced issues of late-stage capitalism and the social stigmas of male mental health. Mooncat Spittin', this video is great. This isn't late-stage capitalism. It's not. This is not capitalism. The government literally has a bottom out on labor. Like in a capitalist society, there is no such thing as the minimum wage. Like in a capitalist society, there's no such thing as welfare. Oh god, yeah. Found the fucking commies. Long time watcher here. I feel such a spark of joy every time you upload. I thought I was hardened enough by everything I've seen online, but some of the stuff you showed in the video made me genuinely sad. I admire you for your patience and dedication. Love your sense of humor, and your music slaps as always. The most impressive skill those guys seem to have is the perfect knowledge of how to make a good microphone sound like the live in a tin can. I think you meant to say they live in a tin can. But you're also not the kind of person to put a period at the end of your sentences, so I can't really expect too much from you. Red pill community creates their identity with the idea that a woman shouldn't influence it, but paradoxically this still requires some idea of a woman in order for them to form their identity and relationship too. Why does the manosphere community put so much energy into creating an image based on how they are perceived by women, yet simultaneously they don't condone letting women form your identity? It's kind of like saying, don't think of a pink elephant, but you still end up thinking about a pink elephant. I think that a lot of the men are attracted to TRP manosphere men who have been emotionally hurt in a past relationship, but that pain wasn't properly dealt with in a healthy manner. Instead of seeking professional help from a licensed psychologist, they instead seek prophet-like figures who will provide these insecure men explanation as to why the world is the way it is to fill the emotional void. Enter the manosphere/TRP complex, where you have men giving the worst relationship advice that will make other men deeply more miserable than they already are, but at least they have the image of being successful. Yeah, tell that to all the men who avoided the rope thanks to red pill shit, and I wonder how many people avoided the rope thanks to a Mooncat video. I'm willing to bet that you've been selling out a rope at your local hardware store every time one of these things drops. Yeah, Chronic, I apologize, but I think you're going to need more Kush. On the topic of sexual market value, I can't help but feel like this is more a symptom of a larger society issue, a consumption society that is driven by the perception that everything is a commodity to be exchanged on the market. Even intimate experiences such as sexual relationships are subject to the economic laws of a market-based ideology. Also, there is nothing more of a sexual turn than explaining sexuality through the lens of economics. Oh, believe me, when you change your offer from, okay, you see, 15,000 for you, but if you bring your sister, 50,000. Yeah, no, you don't think that'll get women wet? That'll get women wet. If only there was a word to describe this phenomenon. Maybe late-stage capitalism? Communist! It's also hilarious how proponents of hypergamy, who view women like a market and are also right-leaning, also subtly recognize just how a market-based system creates an unfair inequality in resource distribution. Hey, look, let me know when the government is regulating vaginas to the point that every incel gets a vagina. Okay? Let me know when that happens, because if we're going to take your metaphor here, then it's only a matter of time before the government recognizes female sexual access as a commodity and starts to publicly trade in it. Male depression is a hell of a drug, believe you me. It was only a question of time till someone was seeing money to be made. That is true. That is true. I mean, both of us agree that fucking pickup roaches are like scum upon the male psyche. But in terms of which is more harmful, well, making $4,000 a month plus sponsorships and music and apparently podcasts that can be sold on Amazon. Wonder how much money Yeetus could make if his shit could be sold on Amazon. Or Podbean. Or Apple. That type of content is hard to digest, but with Mooncat's humor, I can get through it. Okay. Thing. This... Like, this has to be just fucking... like, communist circle jerk. Because it's not that women cannot create deep and insightful content that does also have elements of humor. I don't know how many of you guys have ever caught an Aiden Paladin video. That girl is actually intelligent and decently well spoken and kind of funny. I don't know, never really any laugh out loud moments for me. But occasionally it gets a chuckle out. And that stuff actually goes into deep dives on stuff. Mooncat does not. I think you'd honestly get more information. See, this is what? 2 hours? Out of 4 episodes of Last Week Tonight than you would out of this. And probably the same amount of advertising. Brilliant, beautiful, informative, entertaining, and compelling as ever. Thanks, Mooncat, for all you do. I always learn so much from your work. Let me suck the second-hand zinc out of your puniti. Jesus Christ. First the MLM Huns, then the Coiner Bros, and now the Mastery. You're really going for a full suit of taking down all the worst people the internet has to offer. Damn. Great work and best of luck with the hate this one's gonna get. Hey, Yumjoy, again, we're dealing with a bar so low that it's buried into the ground, and people are still managing to not get over it. I'm going to acknowledge credit where credit is due. This is perfect, Mooncat, thank you. I need some rage to release from the insane rise of sexism and transphobia online in the last few months. Side note, anyone noticed incels are now referring to any woman they don't like online as an Amber Heard type? Yeah, this is what we were worried about. If only one abuse case of a man against a woman got him a quarter of that media attention, huh? Excuse me? The only reason this case got to the way it was because Johnny Depp had the fucking receipts after like every fucking movie deal he had and existing franchise threw him under the fucking bus. What, you're gonna act like women don't get that kind of coverage? Like, have you been fucking asleep for the entirety of the Me Too movement? Like, these people, like, to say they have the memory of a goldfish is an insult to goldfish. Because goldfish can at least remember what happened fucking last week. If you unironically use alpha, beta, or sigma, you're embarrassing and probably a beta. All I see is hurt, angry men lashing out on the world, whether it's through becoming a recluse or becoming one of these male self-help gurus. Life's unfair. They're bad people in every demographic. Just do what makes you happy and be the best person you can be for yourself, and you'll be happy. We hold touch. We hold touch. Much weight. We hold too much weight on relationships and sex. Who cares? Just be a good person. Damn. Being a good person doesn't get you custody of your kids. Being a good person doesn't forgive alimony and child support. Being a good person doesn't save you from a false allegation that sends you into prison. Being a good person does not protect you from shitty people. And when guys just do what makes them happy and they focus on themselves, women get angry. Attention span less than a goldfish. Well, I'm not entirely sure about that. Joy, I saw on Mythbusters once that... shit. Yeah, Jamie was able to successfully train goldfish to swim through a series of rings. So they actually have memory. These people apparently do not. If it's not currently in the news cycle, it doesn't exist to them. I have been laughing and giggling a lot about manosphere stuff. Then I start to wonder about all the men and dudes who don't understand they're being scammed. They really believe it. Am I scamming you? I certainly don't think so. Certainly not my intention. I just have yet to find anyone to provide me with sufficient evidence that counters all the shit that I'm aware of. The production value was incredible. I enjoyed this one and learned a lot. Production value, it's her speaking into a mic in a tight, like in an enclosed room, probably the same one she uses to make music at. And if she's getting $4,000 a fucking month, there better be some damn good production value. Like if I was making $4,000 a fucking month, bare minimum, plus sponsorships, y'all would see a full-on body capture VTuber rig at this point. With a fully rendered environment, and I'd have at least one, if not multiple, artists on retainer constantly making new shit. For the record, I'd like to say that trying to convince the fanatics only convinces them deeper into their beliefs. I want to help, but I firmly believe that the help I could provide will do more harm than good. I also know this is never getting read, but engagement is engagement. The irony of this is that, like, that's the thing. You guys are fucking communists. The difference is, we don't even try to convince you. Like, we know that we can provide evidence out the fucking wazoo. But y'all are so deep into the goddamn Kool-Aid that only intense suffering will actually bring about change. Now, by all means, I'll milk your fucking content. And I'll definitely use the points you bring up as a counterpoint. Hey, because an argument does not get stronger by constantly refining it. You need to run into counter arguments if you're going to strengthen your own. You can't make a sword with just a hammer. You need an anvil. Wow. In fairness, surrounding myself with hard men has generally led to good times. Lead. Lead. L-E-D. You typed there was either lead, the metal, or lead. Lead, as in the past tense version, does not have an A, unless there's some obscure piece of grammar that I'm not aware of. Again, no period. If I was to do a survey of all these comments, I think I would find more sentences that don't have periods than those that do. Angry McTout. Gray, it would be interesting and insightful to listen to your take and research on Cluster B personality disorder. A suggestion, not a request. I mean, I could look into it. Wouldn't say I'm super familiar with it, but heck, could be worth a bit of a dive, especially if there's some kind of article or research paper to look at. I had a friend who started working at a big bank in my home country. After a year of working, she decided to get married. Well, as soon as the admins heard about it, they decided to not give her a standard contract because she might get pregnant and take a maternal leave. That might be correct. I would say take maternity leave, but a maternal leave could be correct. Gray, I don't understand these simps who donate so much money to Japanese VTubers. Well, you see, there's also non-Japanese VTubers, but it's the same kind of people who go and like donate to Amarath or whatever for just chatting. Their comment gets read out, and like I said, you're basically paying to stand out. I mean, right here we got 14 concurrent viewers, and I can more or less like see what everyone's putting down. Like with a bunch of VTubers, though, unless something's a super chat, your message isn't getting through. I honestly regret ever stumbling across the manosphere. I use it to rationalize things I've seen when I was younger, but it just leaves me in a pit of misery without ever discussing a solution. Well, that's because there is no legal solution. Focus on yourself, build your health, you build your wealth, you live a minimalist lifestyle so that you're not overly tied down, and you wait for shit to hit the fan and try to survive it. There's other things you can do, but that's the bare basics of it. I tried to save this video for tomorrow where I could listen to it at work, but I just couldn't do it. I love your videos so much, girl. Can't get enough of your content. Are you a real person? Are you real? I don't know. You don't sound real. But I've met enough people that there's a damn good chance you are. And that's actually kind of sad. Oh, you know what? True, yes, the solution does get you deplatformed. My wife and I constantly yell, unasked for, whenever we do something sweet for each other, even if we ask for it, entirely because we found that ninja tweet so absurd and hilarious. Really? How fucking annoying would that be? Like, you actually put some goddamn thought and consideration and tried to do something sweet, and the gut reaction is unasked for. How about thank you? Aw, that's so sweet. I love it. You're so thoughtful. You know, the kind of thing that normal people who actually give a shit about each other might do. Wow. Wow. Oh, shit. This would be a multi-hour stream. Like not 2 hours to fucking watch it. Like this would be easily 6 to 8 hours going through this and just talking about it. Not even counting the time it would take to do proper research to debunk the debunker. NPC David Fearmonger. Yeah, this test stream has that's taken a weird turn, I'll give it that. I've been listening to these predatory dorks for years. They filled my brain with so much toxic shit that I needed an industrial grade power vacuum to suck it all out. Now I'm doing therapy and did a full 180 with my view on women, and my life is actually happy and satisfying for once. I notice how they never really get into the details here. Like this is why it feels fake. Am I the only one that can really see that? Like, okay, we had 18 guys in chat. Does this sound like how you would describe life-changing events? Like, I used to be so toxic, and then I had my brain sucked out and got some therapy, and now I think the complete opposite, and I'm better. That doesn't sound like how a real person would describe something honestly. Like, I can look back to earlier times in my life and I recognize, holy shit, I was stressed out, couldn't focus on stuff, and constantly sought an escape in various kinds of fantasies. Since then, I altered up my priorities, cleaned up a good chunk of my life. Do I miss some of it sometimes? Well, yes, but I've got other goals now. Got stuff with the warband. I'm actually starting to build up a channel. I've been streaming for a fairly insane amount of time, considering that this was just supposed to be a little bit of testing, but it's ended up going down a deep, bloody rabbit hole here. Alex Davis, please. Pleased to meet you. See you. Thank you. Just... I mean, honestly, I'd consider... I think one thing I can compare it to would be the last time I did... I think it was ecstasy or LSD or something. Like, I was on cloud fucking 9 for a long time. Like, that shit had a long ass come down. And it felt fucking great for it. But then when, like, the come down was actually there, by God, it was depressing. It's like, kind of doesn't matter how good the high is. It's temporary, and the come down is going to suck so much more. And it gets asking, like, why the hell did I do all that? And then after the come down's over, you're like, oh my God, I was such a cringe little bitch. And I fucking spoke to people and they're aware of it. Anger, let's be fair. Social stuff has amplified this unrealistically. Well, that's part of it too. The social aspect has made like people posting their L's as something that like gets them clout, I guess, especially in these circles. This thing, like these people, they kind of seem, I don't know, are they proud of being fuck ups? My life is actually happy and satisfying for once. Like, so, I'm sorry, this comment right here is actually sticking with me. So, I'm just going to do a little bit of extra deep dive. So, my life is actually happy and satisfying for once. That would imply that prior to therapy and doing a 180 on women, your life completely sucked. Like there was no happiness and no satisfaction at all. Fucking birth until therapy and your view change. You were a miserable sack of shit. That does not sound like a real person. Yeah, Alex, we're not necessarily going down the rabbit hole. It's just something that I personally had that I could be like, look, this is like I can look back on it and see the good and the bad. It's not just this was a 100% black and white thing. And comparing how I would describe my own personal bullshit compared to these people, like they don't sound real to me. I am constantly astonished by people who just won't go with the idea that people might be more depressed now because of feeling trapped in a system that continuously exploits them and never gives anything back. You know what? You're absolutely right. But when men do have a solution to that, which is opt out of the system, you tend to not like that. When men say, okay, well, you know what? This system's fucking me. So fuck this shit, I'm out. Ain't gonna deal with this crap anymore. I'm just gonna do me for me. Let's you make, no, you need to fight and sacrifice to change the system. No, I fucking don't. We'll more effectively change the system by stopping feeding it. Like, it's kind of like there's a fat person. Like, what is more likely to get that fat person's habit to change? By feeding them different kinds of food, like say they eat freaking like cake and ice cream all day, and you switch them over to a diet of chicken and broccoli. Is that going to effectively change their habits? Or maybe you should just stop feeding them. Just a brilliant takedown. I laughed at the manosphere. I cried for anyone having to read this crap from the manosphere. Many kissed thousands of dollars goodbye due to insecurity and cult-like behavior. Well, that is true. There are plenty of guys that, due to their insecurity, kissed away thousands of dollars to get bullshit advice. That's not false. Someone on TikTok said, if you're going to look down on feminine hobbies and engage only in masculine hobbies, you really should be dating other men. And this is reminding me of that. Okay. We'll break that down for a second. What hobbies are feminine? Women, by and large, don't have hobbies unless wearing makeup, clothes, and lying are now hobbies. Basically, every hobby is a male hobby that women entered later. And guess what? I don't have to want to fuck somebody to want to spend time with them. Enjoying a hobby with men, for me, I guess I'd say wargaming would probably be kind of an in-person hobby I'd be curious to do. Doesn't mean I want to fuck them. Like, believe it or not, men can be enjoyed for things other than their penises. How many women can say that they have something to offer aside from their genitals? Always remember, these MRA types aren't trying to impress women. They're trying to impress other men. Wouldn't really think of myself as an MRA type. But I will admit, I am trying to impress you guys. At the very least, I'm hoping that I'm entertaining. Maybe funny? At the very least, I'm hoping that this stuff makes you think in a way that, you know, your time here is not wasted. I mean, like, for fuck's sakes, how long have we been going for this? My God, 3 in the morning. Good chunk of you have been here for the better part of 3 hours. For me fucking around in Unreal Engine 5 and roasting the comments section. The original reason we came here. Let's transition back to just to do the animation testing for this. So let's see if this actually works. And immediately, why did they allow jumping? Also, there's no movement controls, so I guess I'd have to figure out why that's not the case. Probably a whole bunch of hidden animations on this character I'm not aware of. Canadian sense of humor? Look, we Canadians have precisely one kind of sense of humor, and it is just related to cold weather. Everything else we just stole from the Americans. I'm a little ashamed that I followed many of these MRA dudes that you debunk. Jay Peterson, Crowder, Kevin Samuel, Isaac Butterfield. Isaac Butterfield? It's been a while since I heard that name. I was one of these MRA guys, not deep enough in the rabbit hole just to being an incel, though. Incel. As though you go deep down in ideology and you just become an incel. Like, as though it's a choice. It's incel. Involuntary. Celibate. Involuntary means it's not a choice. I really like how you point and debunk every major point of the red/black pill movements. You cannot debunk the wage gap in 4 minutes unless you have no idea what you're talking about to begin with. And how you show the ways they profit from the hopelessness of their audience. Admittedly, yes, pickup roaches are the fucking scum of the fucking manosphere for that shit, so I give shit a bad name, but there's a reason that they're debunking the manosphere and not debunking MGTOW. I'd argue, though, that at one point in the video you said that they never talked about men. Oh, but men are issue grape. Depending on the channels, that isn't the case. There are some of them that do talk about it, though I can't name any English-speaking one. Really? Still, it's videos like yours that help men like me. That help men like me how toxic all this bullshit is. I think you're missing a word in there. So thank you very, very much. This is really helpful. Also, sorry if the English is bad. Well, at least do acknowledge that there's room for improvement with your English. Angler MGTOW, great. I've come to understand that you're very much into philosophy. However, a little more insight into what you do would be nice. I work. Outdoor physical work. I'm not doing that. I write stuff. Work on this editing stuff. Just try to stay on the grind that way. That's what I do. What I've done in the past is fairly extensive and complicated. As for what I do in the present, I work, I grind, I try to entertain, and I try to improve what skills I have. I don't really know what details you want unless you want me to get into the specifics of my job, and no, I'm not really going to share that info. I probably will do more live streams. Like the microphone's going in decently enough. Like transitions seem to be working fairly well. Settings are functional. The stream's gone all right. So honestly, probably going to wrap it up about here, guys. I could probably go into these comments for another hour, but I don't think my mouth is going to keep up. I need something to drink, so I got to make myself another cup of tea. So, holy shit, 3:15 in the morning. Been streaming solo for about 3 hours here. 20 viewers. Like, that's basically as high as this stream got for the entire 3 hours. Thanks to everyone who has been popping in and out. And thanks for all your guys' support in general. I don't think there's many channels that have produced as little content as this one and had this amount of success. So I am grateful, and ideally I'll be able to produce some more stuff that's, well, maybe not as much incoherent rambling. So, thank you all again. Y'all have a good night, and happy Canada Day to the probably none of you that are Canadian. But happy Canada Day anyway. I wish you Americans a 4th of July, and if anyone else has a holiday coming up anytime soon that celebrates their country or whatever, well, happy whatever that is. All right. Y'all have a good night. I'll be signing out. Peace out, Warband.